Alright, I've got a fancy Merchant Guild strat to show off. So, we're starting out at Merchant Guild. So to begin, we're going to do a bit of setup with the doors here. So first, we're going to open the door leading into the boss's room, since we're going to need to have him find his way out to the entrance eventually. And then we're going to close these two doors, as we're going to deal with these two eternium golems first. So I'm going to head back to HMV, where I have my Greater Earth Elemental friend. This guy's from Scroll of Familiar Summoning. I'm going to have him wait. And this is the initial setup that we want. I'm standing by the edge of the map, so I can leave and drag the elemental with me whenever I want. And now I order him to attack. Alright, mission accomplished. I'm going to head out into the hills, order him to wait. So for the next part, we want him to stay put. And here there's a little bit of a counterintuitive move. We're going to swap with this guy. Let's Control S. In this case, it wasn't 100% necessary, but you do need to do it when this the upper Eternium Golem hasn't moved, because we don't want him to move to that square. Okay, let me swap back, and this is the setup that we were aiming for. We can drag both Eternium Golems out without taking the Earth Elemental with us. And now let's get him set up down here. Have him wait in this corner, ready to open the door and bring out the rest of the guild. We don't necessarily have to leave immediately. If there's a monster here, they will try to path through your square, realize it's occupied, and just get stuck. So we can bring out two at a time like so. You can probably also bring out one at a time, but this way is a little bit faster perhaps. Alright, that's the initial Eternium Golems that were by the entrance. It's going to take a little while for the others to show up, but there they are. Bear in mind, you cannot use W5 here, because the Eternium Golems are not hostile to you. They are not going to interrupt your walk, so be patient. Press 5 manually. But the Eternium Golems from the far side are already here. At some point, we're also going to see the boss show up. There he is. Okay, we got him out. And the boss, we are going to actually leave behind in the wilderness, as we don't really want him in HMV, we want him someplace else. I'm going to continue with luring the remaining monsters. Great Gray Scribe and probably a handful more of Eternium Golems. Alright, one more. Okay, looks like that was the last one. There is one more monster we need to lure out, and that is a humble Gray Scribe. We are also going to want him in a different location, so we'll leave him behind in the wilderness. And now finally, time to collect our Greater Earth Elemental. And there's going to be a little bit of a traffic jam in HMV, so I'll also leave him behind in the wilderness. We'll encounter him later. Yes, now I need to somehow get to the stairs here. Eternium Golem's being a little bit rude. Okay, so time to collect some of the monsters. For starters, we'd like the Earth Elemental. Oh, perfect, it showed up first. Gray Scribe, yep, we'll take him. We don't want to bring the wyrm over just yet. So since we're neutral, we've got a little bit of extra preparation to do at the altar here, since it starts out lawful. So we are going to start clearing out the paladins. I start at the bottom. just so it's a bit easier to lure the Greater Earth Elemental out to heal if that becomes necessary. These guys aren't that scary, but they do have armor punching, so they can do some damage. Looks like he's doing quite well this time around, though. So I don't even need to bring him out to heal. Okay, so we're going to convert this altar to neutral. This does require a little bit of extra gold compared to normal random altars, so we're going to go with 8,000. We do need to dig this wall out. I've got the pickaxe in the tool slot. There we go. There are a couple other walls that are convenient to dig, so this and this. You could also close the door and that would accomplish the same purpose. But then you have to worry about a monster opening the door. Similar case here. We don't necessarily have to dig this wall. We could close the door instead, but it's simpler if we just dig. This becomes relevant because we're going to be luring the wyrm over from the left side of the level. So we'd like a fairly clear path so that this pathing doesn't do stupid things. And now we'll clear out the monsters around here a bit. I don't think we necessarily need to do this, but reduces the chances of something weird happening. Come on. And there is one last step to complete at the altar. So we're going to have this guy wait. Please. Alright. I'd like to lure over a neutral monster. Well, these guys are chaotic. Okay, swordsman, that will work. So, there's this message. Be warned, sacrificing my own creatures is not something I welcome with joy. Yeah, you get this warning once when you try to sacrifice a monster that is of your alignment, and it's a neutral or well, a monster aligned with the altar. If it's a neutral or lawful altar. Okay, you're gonna have this guy wait again. And now we get to the fun stuff. So it's a little bit weird with the Great Grey Wyrm. Sometimes it takes a bit of work to get him to aggro on your Earth Elemental again. So what we'll be doing here is aggroing this Grey Scribe and then having the Elemental kill the Grey Scribe. And that's why we brought this guy over. So I'm going to anger him with a rock. Gonna head out. And now we need the Wyrm. So there we go. Schwarzan. Okay. So we're going to lead the Scribe over. I do want to be a bit careful here. You can cast Energy Blast. So if possible, we would like to not be in line with that. It's not the end of the world if it hits, but it does pack a decent punch. I think it's something like 30 damage from these guys. So better if we don't take that too many times. But going well so far. Just sort of, yeah, there we go. I messed up. This sort of zigzag. As you can see, it's not instant death or anything. And now we've got our Greater Earth Elemental. Okay, so at this moment, the Great Grey Wyrm is now aggroed onto our Greater Earth Elemental again. So we need to get this guy into position fairly quickly. Like him to wait, not in a wall, please. There we go. Perfect, that's exactly the square we'd like him to be on. And now I'm going to wait on this square. And hopefully we will be seeing Great Grey Wyrm show up soon. Really don't like this swordsman. Alright, hopefully he doesn't get in the way too much. Okay, okay. Beautiful, and we've got him on the altar. Incidentally, he will stay on this altar for a few turns usually, so even if you messed up the neutral sacking thing and forgot it, usually it'll be fine. He doesn't stay here forever, but we've got the kill now. Bear in mind, he's still worth a ton of XP even with the XP reduction from sacrifice. So if you're around level 14, level 15, probably you want to do pyramid first, otherwise you're going to miss out on pyramid. But yeah, there we go. Great Grey Wyrm is dead. And we can collect the spoils over in Merchant Guild. So once he's dead, teleportation is allowed on this level. And we are able to access the artifact room. So pretty neat. Also, one other thing I'd like to point out. Once you lure Great Grey Wyrm out, you can dig out this square. And this room has a ton of gold in it. So there's that. You don't necessarily have to go through the whole strat to get this, but there you go.